Mission completed, my X-Men. According to the computer records we've obtained, mutants are being forced into labor in a mine neighboring a large forest. Unfortunately, the data is insufficient to locate precisely the location of this prison. I suggest you all take different routes through the Genosian forest. The moment you locate the prison, contact me immediately. Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. We are done with our obligations and can now play the game using whatever character or characters we want. We could go through the remainder of the game using just Gambit, if that's what we wanted to do. Only thing stopping us would be if we ran out of lives for Gambit. But even then, you could just reset, put in the last password you got, and be back on your way. That said, I will keep mixing it up to try and keep this playthrough interesting. So, Professor X just suggested that we're going to be navigating through a forest, and each character would have their own unique path through that forest. That's really not the case at all. There's one level, and we can use any character to get through it. There may be some things that a character can do that another character can't, but it's pretty linear. And also, there's really not much of a forest. You'll see. For this one, we're going to use Psylocke. So as you can see, there are trees in the background there. There's even a tree here in the foreground. The only tree in the foreground for the entire level. Technically, yes, we are in the forest. But to me, what Professor X said we would be doing, and what we're actually gonna be doing, feel different enough that I wonder if there was supposed to be a proper forest level at one point. Because to me, this feels like we have left the thick of the forest and found ourselves in a clearing with a Genosian encampment. And what Professor X said, to me, I was picturing like a large sprawling forest level, which had branching paths depending on the character you played. Maybe individual levels for each character. And this is not that. Here is a Genosian soldier sleeping on the job. Wake him up, give him a little punch, and oh my god, alien bug! Yeah, this is another reason why I wonder if something was cut. These are the Brood. They are, in fact, alien bugs. Or maybe bug-like aliens is a better description for them. They show up in this level without any notice, and then they're gone after this level. Why are they here? I have no answer for you, other than Capcom wanted to put in as much stuff as possible for all the X-Men reference, you know? There are the flyers and the crawlers. The flyers will swoop in from the air to hit you. The crawlers will jump at you to hit you, or grab you and bite you until you shake them off. Break the back of that truck to reveal our first X-plate, and this is why we are playing as Psylocke for this level. There are 5 X-plates in this level. Now, any character should be able to get at least 3 of them and then get a 1-up for their troubles, but only Psylocke and Wolverine are capable of getting all 5. There's no benefit to this. I just want to be able to show as much off as I can. So here's the second one. We just got to jump for that. Some characters may need to use this platform to reach it. Now, I look at the Brood with their elongated heads and the jaws and everything, and the fact that they're bug-like aliens, and I wondered if there had ever been any lawsuit where the creators of the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise said, hey, wait a minute. I couldn't find anything. Maybe they are legally distinct enough that there really is no grounds for any conflict. One thing that's definitely very different is a xenomorph can implant an egg or an embryo or something into a host, and then it matures and bursts out of the host and kills them. But a brood will implant eggs into a host, or, an egg, and when it hatches, the host is then absorbed and assimilated into a brood. So there's not like a baby brood that comes out of them. They become the next brood. Much more Cronenberg than Cameron. So we have a third X-plate coming up, and what we're gonna do is we are gonna walk and not stop while 3 flying broods spawn in. There's 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna turn around just in time for 2 of them to try to swoop in, and we bounce off of them to reach the X-plate with just enough time to recover and do another kick on the 3rd flying brood before it can hit us. Then, as you saw, there was a crawler waiting for us that wasn't there before. There are a lot of brood in this level. Case in point, a flyer that wasn't there before. The spawns are weird because there's just so many of these guys at any given point, and there's more queues for spawns than are normally possible. So if you backtrack or if you advance real slow, you will spawn more in than you would if you were a lot speedier, which makes things a little bit more difficult for me, who is taking their sweet time trying to explain things to everybody, which means I have more of these guys to try and dodge. We're still going hitless, which is very stressful. We have this ledge up here, and Psylocke is currently standing on top of a set of 3 little highlights in the rock. Here's another set right here. So in between these 2, more or less, we want to jump, and that will give us the height and distance needed to get into this little area with X-plate number 4. We've got this guy crawling on the ceiling. We do not want to try and hit him just yet. We want to make sure we spawn in these guys on the ground first, because if we get in range to actually attack this guy, it will trigger them to show up, and we will leave ourselves open to get hit by them. And we're going to do the same thing here with this next one. Make sure we've got all the guys on the ground safely dealt with before we let him try to drop on us. And then we kick him in his stupid head. There is one more over in the top right corner here, and we're just going to try to bait him out. There we go. And then we got this guy here, and then another ceiling. Alright. Another flyer. Just time it. Watch for them to pull back before they dive. 2 behind us. 1 in front of us. Now here's a whole bunch of brood eggs, and we have to destroy them quickly before they hatch. Otherwise, we'll just have a whole bunch of broodlings to deal with, which is not fun. And you have to destroy all the eggs and or broodlings before you can advance. Now, why are there eggs when I just said that they implant eggs into hosts? I don't know. Maybe there was something else I missed. Maybe they also, in fact, lay a whole bunch of eggs, as you can see there in the background as well. I thought it was way more interesting, the idea that they lay eggs in people and turn them into broods. Okay, 1 more crawler, 2 more crawler, 3 more crawler, and that should be the end of them. Here's a wall that can be broken. and you get in here for the final X-Plate. Walking along, we're gonna jump and kick, get the drop on that Flying Brood, and it's time for the boss. The Queen Brood. Or a Queen Brood, I should say. These Flying Brood will continuously spawn in and swoop at us for the entirety of the fight, while the Queen Brood moves backwards and forwards, sticks out her little arm leg thing, or thrusts it forward to stab us. It can do a lot of damage, so we want to avoid that as much as possible. You can hit it to stun it, and even ultimately break it off. And then she will be completely defenseless. But in doing so, that will cause the amount of Flying Brood that spawn in to double. So for this fight, I want to keep that leg intact, and we're just gonna bide our time to find good opportunities to get in there and kick her in the head. And bounce off to get back. Follow up with a jump kick here and there if there's a Flying Brood in the way. Slow and steady wins the race, as it were. We can be a little bit ballsy and get 2 hits in if we trigger our attack a little bit lower, but we have to be careful not to be in the damage box of that arm leg thing. So we're just taking it nice and careful here. Oh, that was close. Not much else to say. I'm just gonna try my best to not get hit, because that's apparently what this has become. I'm still not convinced I can do it for the whole game. This is not a thing. I'm not lying to you. This was not at all intended. I'm not doing a bit. Queen Brood has been defeated. Hitless. I'm so tempted to just take damage and stop putting the pressure on myself, but I am curious to see just how far I can take this baby, you know? Anyway, here's a password for after the Queen Brood fight, where Psylocke has the extra life. Thanks to you, X-Men, we now know the location of the Genosians' mutant prison, as well as the enemy forces we face. The camp is guarded by Tusk and his Tuskettes, so remain on your guard. Tusk and the Tuskettes. Unfortunately, it's not a Vegas lounge act. It's somehow much worse. Tusk is an Inhuman, which is like a mutant, except not. Mutants are beings that have the X gene that is then awakened and causes a mutation within that being. Inhumans are an offshoot of humans who were genetically altered by the alien race known as the Kree. They're mutants in a different way, basically. So Tusk is a big old beastly thing who creates little tiny clones of himself that come out of his back. Those are the Tuskettes. And for this level, we are going to use Beast. And I use the word level very loosely. So Beast has this little upward punch that hits nice and high, which is very good for all these little jumpy bastards. And as you saw, they have bombs. And they can grab onto you. They don't do any damage, but they hold you in place, which is dangerous when you got others throwing bombs at you. So we're just going through this hall, punching these little guys. I accidentally did a headbutt. Okay, that's the end of the level. It's time for the boss. Yeah. Yeah. Now, we're using Beast because we have a really, really good cheese technique here. There's Tusk. Gonna get up here. And we're gonna come over here. And we are now pretty much safe. So yeah, Tusk will spawn Tuskettes. They usually go jump on the platform above us, and they jump into lava and die trying to get to us. Sometimes they may end up on the lower section, and we just have to punch them before they leap at us and grab us and drop us into the lava. Now, if you didn't see, Tusk is on a conveyor belt. It goes back and forth. It doesn't affect his movement, but it affects ours. I think it does affect his movement when he's knocked down. Now, we could have knocked him down into the lava, which would deal additional damage to him. You see there's that platform that goes up and down. If he's under it when it falls, it just stuns him for a moment. If we're under it when it falls, it deals damage. And he's got this charge attack. He could also punch us and jump at us, but he's not going to do that with us here. This charge attack, he can't reach us with it, where we are. And we just wait for him to stand up. If we punch him too soon, we will be in his damage box, and he will hurt us instead of us hurting him. So wait for him to stand up, punch him, knock him back. And fight over. Super easy. And here is this password, which I guess is still, this is after Tusk. I don't know if this tracks who you've done what levels with. But this will still be for Psylocke having the 4 lives.
Warning. Unidentified mutants have breached the perimeter. Unidentified mutants have breached the perimeter.
Unidentified mutants. Ah, this must be the vaunted X-Men come to rescue their fellow mutants. Surely they must realize the futility in trying to overcome the mighty apocalypse. Perhaps I may spare their wretched lives and offer them the chance to become my new horsemen. Come to me, X-Men. Come to your doom.
Yep, it's time to fight Apocalypse, the big bad of X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Short game, huh? Well, it might shock you to learn that this is not the final level of the game, but it might shock you again to learn we are in fact pretty darn close to the end. Apocalypse is either one of, or is, the oldest known mutant, dating back to ancient Egypt, with the name En-Sabanur. I don't know what exactly his mutant powers are, because at some point he discovered some celestial technology which he used to alter himself significantly. He's able to have a very prolonged life. He has stasis chambers, which allow him to recover from grievous injuries and sleep for long periods of time. He can change his entire physiology on a whim, and that's why he looks like a weird robot. And he leans into the whole apocalypse thing. As he said there, he might make us into his new horsemen. He does have followers. Tusk is, or was, in fact, one of them. And he alters his followers using the celestial technology. And some of them are, in fact, his horsemen, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Why an ancient Egyptian is, leaning into the Christian mythos of the apocalypse and the 4 horsemen, I don't know. He thought it sounded cool, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna beat Apocalypse now, or die trying. And we're using Wolverine to do it. Now, this is the level that makes people think this is a very hard game. We have lava chasing us now. I'm gonna just do my dash attack to make some distance. And we've got these barriers that close on us that we have to destroy in order to get through, or properly timed dash will save us a little bit of time. Here's our first X-plate, and thanks to Wolverine's wall climbing technology, we can go up this way, and we are now done with the lava section here. Other characters are not so lucky, and they will have to figure out a way to get through that fast enough without the lava hitting them, because if it touches you, you are dead. So Wolverine's just gonna climb up here, and this section right here, other characters can backtrack to from later on, that they can get this X-plate. With the beefier characters like that muscle guy or the knife guy or even some of the gunmen, you really want to make sure you do Wolverine's dash attack from a distance so that you stop your movement when you're kind of inside their hitbox. That way you will get all of the hits in and knock them down. If you're too close, you'll dash through them, they'll still be standing and can follow up with an attack while you're vulnerable, which is bad. So a couple of these, take them down. This is where you would be coming up from the lava section. In fact, I will show you by going over here and climbing downward, where we get another X-plate. There's the lava. So Wolverine can just climb down that wall and get that. Other characters, they will need to be fast enough, have enough time where the lava's not like right on their ass, where they can either jump up to reach the X-plate, or they jump over to get it and then get back to safety. It's a big ask of them. I have another big guy and a green t-shirt boy. Oh, see, I dashed through him. And he tried to follow up, but that was scary. I got scared. Yeah, yeah. That's what the mutants are doing in their prisons. We don't ask questions. Another little section. Alright. So, we finished that lava section. Here comes the next. But instead of it chasing us horizontally, it's going to rise upward and do so very fast. Along the way, there's going to be guys throwing grenades. There's going to be normal, generic your basic mooks. You want to ignore them as much as possible and just get up. So we're coming over here. We're walking off this to get this X plate, and now we're working our way up. The grenade guys, they only take one hit. From here, jump up, get that X plate. And ooh, that was close. So that's all 5 X plates gotten with Wolverine. Now it's time for our fight with Apocalypse. He's going to start this fight off crouching and throwing a fireball from his hand. We're going to jump over it, close the gap, and hit him. He's going to teleport. He ejects spikes from his body. They hurt you if you touch him. We are trying to force him to do this so that we can follow up with an attack. He can also do a little drill attack where he crouches down and turns his arm into a drill and launches that out. There we are. That's scary. It's fast. But we did it. Apocalypse beaten. Once again, no damage. So this password, we now have 4 lives for Wolverine and Psylocke, 3 lives for everybody else. Apocalypse is defeated. We've won. We've saved the day. Certainly, nothing bad's gonna happen now. Job well done, X-Men. All of the mutant prisoners have been freed successfully. Now the Genosian government has agreed to open a dialogue regarding their treatment of mutants. We must continue our tireless mission of making the world safe for both human and mutant kind, a world where both races can live together in peace. Congratulations, X-Men. You're far too easily duped, Xavier. Humans can never be trusted. I, Magneto, Master of Magnetism, shall deal a crushing blow to the Genosian government within 24 hours. Tell your X-Men to evacuate Genosha immediately and take the other mutants with them. I have no intention of harming fellow mutants. Obey Magneto, the savior of mutant kind. This cannot be! Magneto shall plunge the entire world into chaos, disaster. Return to headquarters at once, my X-Men. You must prepare for the coming battle with Magneto in the Danger Room while I pinpoint his current location. Test your skills against Omega Red, X-Men. So Magneto has shown up, and we're gonna stop him from killing a bunch of people that were enslaving mutants and possibly handing them off to Apocalypse to do God knows what with. Look, sometimes Magneto is right. Maybe the X-Men should just sit this one out. But if they did that, we wouldn't have the rest of the game, I guess. So we are going to prepare for a battle against Magneto by fighting 2 characters that are not Magneto in the Danger Room. In the X-Men lore, the Danger Room is a place where the X-Men and other mutants can train for combat or to learn how to better use their powers. And it can simulate anybody, anything, anywhere. It's like the holodeck on Star Trek, except you get to punch more things. And despite it being called the Danger Room, it's apparently pretty safe, unless, something crazy were to happen, like the computer responsible for the simulation gains sentience. But, something like that would never happen in a comic book. We are going to start off with Gambit to fight Omega Red, but I will warn you, these Danger Room levels, there's going to be 2 of them. The background changes very frequently, and it does this flashy pixelation thing that might bother your senses. So, just be aware of that. Here is Omega Red. We are going to get into the corner and hang out and just do this for most of the fight. This is entirely safe, and any character can do this. Because we're in the corner, it limits what Omega Red will actually be doing in this fight. Sometimes he will drop down further away, but he will jump back up and come back down in front of us. So Omega Red, real name Arkady Rosevich, he is a Russian murderer, and the Russians thought that he would be the perfect guy to use in their super soldier program, trying to have their own Captain America. He is a mutant. His mutant power is that he emits toxic pheromones that will kill most normal people if they're in proximity of him for a long enough time. Part of the super soldier program was to give him those carbonadium whips, or carbonadium whips. It's a type of metal like adamantium, like Wolverine has, except it's more malleable, and that's why he has these little wiggly arm tentacles. It's also radioactive, so it is slowly killing him, but he can use those whips to drain the life force of others, and that keeps him alive. Yeah. What else is there to say? With Gambit here, we do have an opportunity to throw cards when Omega Red drops in from the distance there. We can respond fast enough to hit him before he can get back up. So that's that fight. That's a cheese strat that can be enjoyed by any character. Let's talk about the things he was supposed to do in that fight. He goes up into the air. He can hang down by one tentacle and smack you with the other from the air. He can just flail them around in front of you and knock you down. He can shoot one of his tentacles into the ground and it comes up underneath you and grabs you and drains your health. I mean, I could tell you, I could make up anything right now and you would just have to believe me, because you didn't see any of this other stuff. If I said, he has an attack where he farts on you, that's his toxic pheromones, you'd have to believe me. You'd have to take my word for it. Job well done. One final test, X-Men. Test your skills against Juggernaut. Okay, now it's time to take on Juggernaut. We have now used 4 out of 5 characters for this go-around, so we will be using Cyclops for this fight. Again, we're in the Danger Room. It's going to do that flashy, pixely thing with the background, so be aware of that. Juggernaut, not a mutant. He obtained the Gem of Cyttorak, which bestowed upon him what you saw there. He became all big and giant, and he's got a massive helmet that is impenetrable to psychic attacks. he is unstoppable. When he gets moving, it's very, very difficult, near impossible, to stop him in his tracks. There's a few people that have managed that. We're not really going to be managing that. Instead, we are going to be waiting for him to stop on his own. Also, he is the stepbrother of Professor X. So we're going to get up onto these platforms here. He's going to charge, and we're going to jump over him and kick him. Just lots of kicks. Stronger attacks will push him back a little bit, like the crouching kick or the roundhouse, which gives us a little breathing room to just keep this process going. We can also hit him with the optic blast here and there. Oh. Optic blasts are very good damage. Ooh. Let's try to get that back into position there. Okay. So you see he blocks. If he does the charge, you can't hurt him without him hurting you. He punches real good. He can grab you and slam you. He also farts on you. Yeah. So there we go. That's another handful of levels done. We managed to use each character, and the hit list run continues. Will we finish this game without taking any damage? I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to try really, really hard. But the game is probably going to try harder. Again, this isn't bait. I'm not doing a bit. This was never part of the plan. We just found ourselves on this train, and it's not stopping. We found ourselves on this juggernaut, and he's not stopping until he does. So, I don't know, hopefully that's exciting for you, just watching and waiting for me to fail. I can't promise anything. This last section, well, you'll see next time, okay? Okay. So, I love ya. Mwah. Bye-bye.